Hello, guys. I hope you all are doing well. Okay, India in the 18th century has already been completed and the video was already out. So, we discussed what all to study from there and what all were the important points and everything. And somehow we managed to complete this in two videos. But then I realized that I have to study so much for just one chapter, from which question might just be a part. Like this chapter might be just a part of that question. So, how do I come down to things that help me easily to complete everything? So then I came to chapter 2 with a new strategy, and this is something that once you complete this chapter, you'll definitely, you can write there no more required, or you can know what all things are there that you need to study. And apart from that, you can just leave this chapter and have everything clear for you and things go that smoothly. And everything, don't worry, I'll complete this in this video. So it's just a 20-minute 30-minute video that'll be, and accordingly we'll complete. And trust me, after that you'll be so glad to just scratch down all the questions, all the portions from which no more things are required to be studied, and you're so happy that you don't have to go through all those big chapters again and again and again. So let's begin with the video and see what all is there inside. So definitely in this chapter we start with the advent of Europeans. You can write down how it all started, how the Europeans people came in, how everything just happened, and how you can suffice your introduction in a very short crisp manner. For that you can go through the chapter 2. The first page, second page is mostly about that, and you can complete that in no time. And after that you can proceed with other things. So this is a small introduction that you can keep in order to read your things. And after that you have the Portuguese advent, because yes, the first the colonial thing that came in was the Portuguese, and after that things started with India and everything. So the Portuguese advent, you have how did they start and everything, because see, if you note down all the dates, all the names, that's easier for you to remember. And you never know, UPSC might just ask anything. And then please do make sure that you have all the small notes written, types written, and accordingly you proceed. Like for example, here the Francisco de Almeida was the first Portuguese governor in India, but the real founder was another person. So now UPSC might just ask, or you might just get a name, and then one of your option might be he was the first Portuguese governor in India. So you need to know who was exactly and who was the real founder. And if they say real founder, don't just confuse it with the first and everything like that. And do mention all the names and everything. That's good for prelims, and this could be good for mains also, because yes, you do need to know the contributions, the issues that they raised with, or the significance that they had, the role that they played, and the contribution they made towards our country and everything. So this is of Albuquerque, and I hope that pronunciation was correct. Anyway, so this was the contribution of him and the disturbances that he laid down and everything like that. This might just be helpful in your mains answers. UPSC just not have asked until now, but you never know. And then it was the reasons for survival, what made him stay for so long and everything, what made him become the real founder and everything. And then the decline, why, how the Portuguese people just declined, and accordingly things just continued. So yes, the reasons also there, that they concentrated more over Brazil, and then they meddled in the church affairs and had to go under in the fierce struggle waged by the growing commercial and the naval powers. So accordingly things end for them. And then we start with the Dutch Advent. So your things are just confined in one place. The Portuguese Advent is now over. Anything, any small big current affair or question or anything that you get, you can just come crucify in that place. Okay, this has to be remembered, or this has to be done, or this has to be done. So in one and a half page, your Portuguese Advent is over. That's what I wanted to say from this. Dutch Advent, again the same logic. If there's any name, there's any company name, there's anything, just note it down. Just note it down. You might not know that whether you came across this or you did not, and things might just be there. And do highlight all the the names of the place, or the names of person, or the crops and everything which are there, because you never know how things go about, what UPSC asks. And if you have any battle written, do make sure that you know about it, the date, and who at least fought between them, because you never know. Like, for example, I'll give you, there was a question in 2018 prelims paper. The staple commodities of export by AIC from Bengal in middle of 18th century were A, B, C, and D. There are options. So you have to remember the, the options, the crops name, the numbers, the people, and everything. So accordingly proceed with this. Now if you know the answer to this question, comment down. If you do not know, go and search. IB wouldn't be spoon feeding you all the time. Okay, let's continue. So we have, then comes the English East India Company. Here also go date wise, because if you know the flow, if you know the story, you will remember it easily. So go date wise, how it all started, which year, who came, how things happened, which emperor, which name of, like the English servant who was there, how did they contradict, how do they have conversations and everything. So whatever you have, just get it down here and note it down. All the date wise, all the year wise, everything is written. And this is the same procedure that the book is also following. So it's not a big problem, or it's not a big issue, or it's not something that I've worked hard or really hard on. So you can really get through this. But if you have it in the book there, that'll be like, you have to keep reading. Here what you can do is, you can summarize, like if it's 1626, another factory at Armaga, so you do not have to read the whole sentence, you're just reading the small point. And accordingly you have the years again, what happened, how it happened, and who replaced what, where was the fort fortified, and how things go on. Do make sure that you do not skip this out, because things might just be, you never know what questions they ask or what questions they don't. So it's really not feasible or advisable to just skip out things. So all the dates and your calendar basically is ready, and accordingly you can proceed. You come to 1717, and before that everything is done. And now when we come to Farooq Siyar, I hope you remember when we had this India in the 18th century video, I told that yes, Farooq Siyar is important because this emperor gave a farman from which became the Magna Carta of them, and accordingly this becomes important, and why he was bound to give, what made that Carta important, and how did that farman change the advent of Indians there. So this was there, that yes, he granted right to duty free trade in Bengal. In case of Hyderabad, allowed freedom from all duties and allowed the right of coining. So when this coining started, the fake coins, the minting of coins which were not true and everything started. And when the granted right to duty free trade, they started trading freely. They started making their commercial employees trade freely. Their commercial employees started exploiting the emperor, and accordingly things proceeded. Then we come to the French advent. Again, the same recourse that you're following, the date pattern, the name pattern, the company's name, any Indian member who has been here, any Indian emperor, ruler, whoever, Subedar, anything. You get a name, just highlight it. You get a name, just highlight it. Where did they fortify? What did they fortify? And everything. See, these are not important. I'm not telling you that these are very, very important. You need to know them. But the point is that if it's there in the book, it can be there in the paper. That's the whole point. And here again, when we have failure of French, this is a mains question thing, because you might just get, oh, what happened? Why did the French fail? Like, because French were as confident, and they, had was as neutral as English had. But how did they fail? What happened? So this is how you can write your points down, because whenever you're reading this way, you're framing your mind to just remember why did French fail. Most of the time we read it like a story, but then we forget to frame our mind accordingly, and then we miss out on that. And when the question is there, you might just know the answer, but you just don't know how to frame it, because your mind at that point of time might just not work that way. So please make sure that you have things clear with you, you have things written down and everything like that. And any small, any big thing, again, you can mention it here, and thus your failure of French, everything is done. Then we have, why did English succeed in India? So the failure of French is known. Why did they succeed? Because they also had certain factors which French might be missing on. because I'd written it down in the corner portion, as you can see, that they were superior in arms, they had good military tactics, and then they had brilliant leadership. So they could train Indian soldiers, arm them in the European manner, and accordingly they could make them as good a soldier as the European is. And then how did they just start with things? Then we have the British occupation of Bengal. How did they enter into Bengal? And every story about how they started, how Kolkata came up, like Calcutta before. So again, there is, I don't know if all of you knew about this already, because I started knowing when I read Bipin Chandra, that it was Sudanuti, Kalikata, and Govindpur, clubbed up to make Calcutta, which is Kolkata. And then we again have this Alivardi Khan, we have Siraj-ud-Daulah, and from here starts the Battle of Plassey, Buxar, which we all will come across in this very video, know about it, and things would work fine. So Alivardi Khan, we have the deputy governor, everything, anything about him, just note it down here. Anything that you get, maybe you just read one book, maybe someday you read something about him which you might consider important, note it here. Sirajuddaula again, what all enemies, why did he had conflict with the IC? This is important because Battle of Plassey is a very very important battle. If any battle has been there which is important, it is Plassey, and after Plassey is Buxar. So why did that start? What was the issue of this emperor with EIC and how things started? So this also becomes important. So whatever, all of these are there in the book. Now you have just two options. You either mark it in the book and then come back to the book, and read it. Or like I told in my last Wednesday video, I guess, you have not just Bipin Chandra, you have NCRT, you have S. Balia, you have Spectrum for your modern India. So what you can do is you can club all of them. Here I forgot to club Spectrum because at that point of time I wasn't referring to the Spectrum when I prepared these notes. So but yeah, when I'll revise again, I'll make sure that I refer to the Spectrum also, and if there's anything that is good, beneficial, which might not be there in any other book, obviously IB will share that. So yes, from there we come to Battle of Plassey, like I said. So you can just make these small charts of, yes, Sirajuddaula had loyalists, there were Mir Madan, Mohanlal. Sirajuddaula had anti-loyalists, there were Mir Jafar, Khadim Khan, O.P. Chand, Rai Durlab, Jagat Seth, and accordingly, Bengali poet Nabin Chandra said, Knight of Eternal Groom for India. So if prelims doesn't ask this, you can use this in the mains if you ask the question about Battle of Plassey or anything like that. Again, the mains perspective, significance, you write what happened, they made British the masters, they added to the company's prestige, they helped in strengthening the financial position. This changed the viewpoint of AIC in India. This is what Battle of Plassey was about. And how was Battle of Plassey different? How was that more beneficial? And why was Battle of Buxar significant? All of these also is covered in the book itself, and obviously in the notes too you have to cover. After Sirajuddaula got away, killed, we had Mir Jafar, who again was in the anti-loyalist character there. And here then after Mir Jafar we have Mir Qasim also. So what does Mir Jafar? He made a secret treaty. So what was there in the treaty? You just write it down. If there's anything that you know about Mir Jafar, you can write it down. Mir Qasim, who was Mir Qasim? You can write it down. What was his characteristics? You can write it down. Anything that you get, write it down, but just don't fill it up with unnecessary things. Like, see, if you have one sentence which is something very easy, it's just there to make you understand that paragraph better. That sentence you can avoid, because that is something that you can write in your own words when you're writing it down in your answer sheet. What you will tend to forget, or what you actually forget, are the things that you mention or some good important points. So here reforms by Mir Qasim, and after that the Battle of Buxar. Why did it start? When did it start? And between whom? Like I said, just make sure that anywhere, any small place you come across battle, note it down. Note it down, because noting it down, coming back to it is the only thing that can help, that can initiate revision, and that can let you know that yes, you are going in the right path. And accordingly you will know that yes, these are the things that you need to know, and everything, this is all there, I mean, in the book. And yes, you can also have your NCRT beside if you want, what all chapters from which all class are there, I have it all prepared. You can let me know, I can share it with you, so that yes, you save your time, and I'll also be glad to help you to come of one small help to you. And here we then had Treaty of Allahabad, we had Suja-ud-Dawla, and we have Shah Alam too. What happened with Suja-ud-Dawla, what was he asked from, what was he asked to keep, what happened with Shah Alam 2, and everything. So all of these you can write in small portions. Then it started the dual system of administration in Bengal, and there we have the advantage, we have the disadvantage. Years are important because see, if you write years beside, you don't have to mug it up. Most of the time UPSC has never asked years, but then what happens is you get a time frame. Okay, so dual system of administration Bengal was during 1765 to 1772, so what was happening at that point of time in this or that, so you know, or before that, after that, so this becomes a thing that you can know about it. And these are the demerits of the dual system of administration in Bengal. So it's not just about that demerits was just related to Indians or the Indian people suffered, that is why things happened like that. It's more about why the administration failed. So yes, it led to rapid increase of private trade, and then servants carried on trade, and like I said, you know, they become corrupted and everything like that. So that initially started with the Farman, but it officially became disastrous here, like during this phase. And then servants, how did they hamper the downfall of local industries, downfall of agriculture? So now you know, if you are asked about anything related to agriculture, how you are to relate anything related to agriculture towards history, you need to know that yes, there was a hand of dual system of administration in Bengal also, because that led to the downfall of the company's income, loss of production, and with that things ruined for the agricultural industry also. And this is the last part of dual system of administration in Bengal. There's a small portion about the Battle of Buxar. Why was that significant, and everything that's there in the book. If you want, you can go and look it out there, see to it, and come back to the video or whatever you're studying, and accordingly you can proceed with your things. There's also that discuss the development that led to Battle of Buxar, or what were the consequences, so you can write about them if you know in details. These are some small portions from the book itself. This is something that I felt that if I make a note on it, it will, you know, just waste my time, because this is something I cannot skip. So expansion under Lord Wellesley, what all did he do, where all did he fight, what all did he gain, what were his doctrine, or you know, the subsidiary alliance that he formed, like he was famous for that, and a lot more than that. So all of these, how did he do everything, so this you can just go and refer to the book. Apart from that, you can cut down all. See, there was one question also, which one of the following statements does not apply to the system of subsidiary alliance introduced by Lord Wellesley? And you again have options here. So this is what I want to say, that subsidiary alliance is something that you might just be reading in every corner of all the battles that you've read. You know, Mir Qasim, Jafar, and everywhere you'll read that yes, they were made to sign, in the Anglo-French War and everything. But you might just not guess it. Okay, UPSC might just ask it this way. So this is why this becomes important. And then consolidation of British power, how did they conquest Sindh and other places, like it's all mentioned in the book. So you do not have to worry, you do not have to think over it, you can just go and refer it there. And you have the conquest of Punjab there, Sindh as already mentioned, and accordingly the whole paragraph, the whole explanation of how what things happened. From there you can jot down the important points, or you can just highlight them there, so that you don't have to write all of these things down, because these are not that important but important. And then this is a small portion, Dalhousie and the policy of annexation. This is just like we had Lord Wellesley, we have Lord Dalhousie, and things about him, things about everything in this. If you follow this thing, guys, you can complete your chapter 2 in one day. I am saying one day. If you have started, like you do not know anything about history, you just sit with the subject, you just start and you just do it, you can complete it in one day. That's maximum. That too with all the things, you know, like you have, you are referring to NCRT, Balyan, and everything. So this is it with today's video, guys. I know that this was a big thing, but you can shorten it down to this low, and accordingly you can function. See, I won't say that these were the perfect things, these were the maximum that you require, these are the minimum that you require, but the lesser the better for the minimum range, and the lesser the better for the maximum range too. So now if you have anything, any good thing, any good point that comes across your sight or your mind or anything, you can just note it down here and you can enhance your notes accordingly. I hope this video was of good help to you, or at least of some help to you. So I hope that you like this video, you know about it, you refer to it, and you please share with other friends so that they can also take down important vital notes from these. And thank you for all the things that you're doing, for your motivation and everything. We meet next on Wednesday. Until then, keep studying, and thanks for watching.